Okay, so I got this brilliant idea that every time I make a custom figure, I really don't have a good way that I show it off and like display it. So I thought, hey, you know what? I should make a background, a diorama background that I can use to set up my custom figures. Pose them into sort of as an unveiling, if you will. Right? Put them against the background. The only problem with that was they all usually have a different theme. So I thought, you know what? Let me give this a shot and make something along the lines of my um, theme, which is, of course, a laboratory of mayhem. Now, this thing here is a sheet of styrene plastic. Back up a little bit so you can kind of see it. Now, I really like working with styrene because it's lightweight. It's very easy to work with. You don't need a lot of tools. You can get some very nice effects with scoring with a razor blade and just snapping it, and it will come out pretty straight. Okay, so what I'm doing with this is going to be a Frankenstein's copy of Frankenstein's laboratory, probably more from the Bride of Frankenstein than it is the actual Frankenstein movie. But since they used a lot of the pieces, and I think it was actually a little bit better looking Bride of Frankenstein from the source photos I was gathering, that I'm going to do this one. Now, the idea here is that these lines that you see marked off on the sheet will be there's like a cabinet that goes here. Over here is some kind of like electrical thing, and over here is another thing that looks sort of like a speaker. And I'll be finding photos of those to make it as accurate as I possibly can. However, the rest of it will be covered in bricks. Now, the bricks are, the way I did this was I set up a sheet of styrene and I cut it into, I measured the shape of the bricks. The bricks will be the main bricks will be 1.5 inches long by 1.25 inches high, or up to, let's see here. Yeah, about, these guys are about 2 inches by 1.25 inches. Okay, so they'll be the main bricks. But there's no sense in covering everything with bricks if I'm going to be putting furniture in front of it. Plus, when I build the furniture, I'll be able to attach it directly to the styrene sheet to give it more strength. So the bricks start off as just plain sheets. Let me see if I can find a blank one here. Okay, I'll just use this guy's for an example. So what I did was I scored the sheet with a razor knife. Then you just simply snap it. So like this, for example, is what the bricks would look like. There's the line, and you just score that with a razor blade and just snaps off perfectly, and then you have your brick is ready to go. Then, of course, it doesn't look very brick-like because it's really smooth. This stuff works really good if you're doing like a something like Star Wars, where you need like a nice polished look to it. It holds the paint very, very well. Works really well with like Tamiya plastic spray paint. Okay, so what I did was I took my Dremel. If you don't have a Dremel and you want to customize, I highly recommend you pick up one of these guys. It's a rotary tool. You can get cheaper versions at places like Harbor Freight or even Walmart have their own in-store brands at this point. And it'll usually run you about $30 to $50. Comes with multiple different attachments that you can put on, and really gives you a very wide variety of effects that you can gain. So I took the Dremel. I'll show you a little bit here what it looks like. I apologize for the sound, but you might want to know what it sounds like just because it's loud, and it does make a mess. Okay, so let's see if I can't do this here. So I already started on this one. What I want to do is I want to round out the edges a little bit so that it doesn't look so perfect. Now, once the bricks are in place, what I'm going to do is use a little bit of Milliput, an epoxy sculpting resin, to make them look a little bit more brick-like with some raised effect and stuff, so forth like that. Okay, here's the Dremel. I'm going to turn it on for just a second, then I'm going to mute it so I don't blast out anybody's ears. And it makes a terrible mess. Okay, so, but it's a pretty good effect, and it's not that time consuming. So now I'm going to start placing some of these bricks on here. Now this is just regular plastic model cement. Works great for styrene. Styrene is the same material that your plastic models are made of. Well, the plastic models that were made of when I was a kid and I used to do plastic models. I don't know if that's a thing anymore or whether it's been anything for a long time. So yeah, there's that. I'm covered in plastic dust. You may want to use your Dremel with a shop vac around, because it does get a little messy. So you don't need a ton of this glue. Basically, a little goes a long way. And what it does is it actually melts the styrene together, kind of welds it, if you will. There is a a type of cement called weld-on, but I find it works. It gets a little bit brittle. This tester stuff, which is pretty cheap, it's about $2 for this tube. You can go to Hobby Lobby and you get a double pack for about $5. So I guess it's about $2.50. Well, it was anyway until everything started getting much more expensive. But so this is what we're going to look like here. Move this guy here. Okay. So once the bricks are in place, and I'm leaving a little bit of a gap, because one of the important things about diorama building, in my experience anyway, is not so much that you're trying to do an actual duplicate of something, whereas sometimes that is exactly what you want. But I found that often it's better to do more of a suggestion of the design that you want. And you can use things like paint, and you can use, like I said, the epoxy that I'm going to build up some of these bricks with, so they look more authentic. And you can do so much just with shading with your paint and weathering that it really does a wonderful job and saves you a lot of effort, rather than trying to drive yourself insane making sure every little thing is exactly the way you want it. Now, this thing here, we want to have, let's see, So I've made different size bricks because they're not all uniform in the original movie. It's interesting in the movie, from what it looks like, is they didn't use real bricks either. They sort of painted them on what looks like fabric and just kind of laid it on the background and just kept it very dark as they shot. Of course, back then when you're filming everything and it was supposed to look like Victorian era where everything was lit by candlelight and very crude electronics, everything would have been very dark, and it adds to some of the mystique to it. Okay, so you can see the brick appearance is already starting to come together with just a few of these bricks in place. And they don't have to be perfect because, well, you actually don't want them perfect because, well, bricks are never ever exactly the same. Hit mute for a minute while I Dremel. And we have more of a mess. Now what I'll do tomorrow, or hopefully tomorrow, sometime before too long, I'll be addressing some of the other parts to it. But I have to, this is sort of like I take breaks from my actual commission work and do some of my own things just because if I don't, I will go a little bit crazy and just sort of get frustrated by doing everything. And I want to keep it fun. I still want to enjoy the creative process of it. I don't like that there. That's going to come out a little too. It wouldn't look stable. So I'll put two of these big guys in here. My days of Lego building won't let me build a weak wall, which that would have been. Ooh, that doesn't look good either. Okay. So now I need to be a little creative here and find a smaller piece like this. Okay. Hey, Cam. Good to see you. I'll catch you in a while. Okay. This. Go here. Watching Stranger Things tonight, so probably got me in a little bit of a mood to do a little bit of the horror element. Okay, now, so you see this guy here doesn't quite fit. See, there's this little overhang here. Now, this is one of the great things about a Dremel is because, well, you know, let me show you like this. This is some of the great elements of styrene that are very helpful. Whoops, I'm making a mess. Okay. See this here? I got to cut out this little corner. Razor knife. Here's your thickness of the styrene, and you can get this stuff in all kinds of different thicknesses. So you just take your knife, a little wiggle back and forth, and on the other, boom, there, notched out. I can take this guy here and put him in place there. And again, it doesn't have to match perfectly, because what I'll do is when I'm painting it, I'll add a little bit of a darker shade in there where you won't be, it'll just be lost in shadow. Okay. So what I did was I took a larger sheet of styrene and I cut it into, basically made a grid pattern, scored it with my razor knife, and just snapped all these pieces. And I did it before I calculated how much I was actually going to need. So, which is not a big deal, because there's going to be some side pieces to this, a couple angles and corners, just so I can use some stability for this, so that I'll put some braces on the back so it is actually a little bit more supported. The bricks here being glued to the face will give it a lot of support, but like I said, I'm not exactly sure how many of these I'm going to need. And when I get back to this either tomorrow or the next day, I'll be adding the milliput and the and start building some of the furniture. Oh, yeah, that's not good either. Okay, let's go here. Get one of these little guys. That'll work. Ooh, you know what? Better idea, better idea. Take one of these even smaller guys here. Okay. I have to pick away some of the little. You're basically using, when you use the Dremel on it, you're sort of melting the plastic a little bit, which is okay. It's just a matter of, it does smell a little bit, and probably not the best thing in the world to be breathing in. So you want to keep that to a minimum and hopefully have some decent ventilation wherever you're working. Fortunately, my drafty old basement where my workplace is pretty well ventilated. Okay, whoops. Glue in my hand. I got glue everywhere. Which is not going to matter because this is all going to be covered in brick anyway. All right. Now I'll go with the smaller guy here, like so. Okay. Move these guys a little bit. Yeah, the glue, the cement really takes hold pretty quickly. Like this guy here is actually a little off. So what I'm going to have to do, a little bit of a trim here. Fortunately, it doesn't take very much at all to knock some of this off a little bit. That fits a little bit better. Okay. go. Now I got to get over in this corner here. Again, I don't want it to end up, yeah, see that doesn't look like a very stable wall if I were to put that right there. So what I'm going to do is trim down a little bit. I'm going to need a different size piece. Yes, that's off a little bit. So what I'm going to have to do is line this guy up here like this. Move this thing a little bit here, and I'll just use this to. You can see how it doesn't quite line up, which is fine again, because you know, your bricks aren't going to be in real life. The bricks wouldn't be perfectly aligned anyway. However, what I'm going to do with this is take my pencil and I'll mark right here and right here. Should probably be using my Bob Ross voice for this. And we're just going to make a happy little brick. Yeah, just a happy little brick, just hanging out there, being a brick. That'll probably get annoying really quick. Not that my regular voice is not annoying. I certainly don't like my voice. I wonder how many people actually do enjoy hearing their own voices. It's probably not very many. I asked God about that one day. Right after I asked him why he made mosquitoes. Oh, they feed frogs. Frogs can eat lots of other things. Why they need mosquitoes? Okay. Okay. Now this guy will fit right here, like so. I plan on making all kinds of Frankenstein's lab doodads and machinery and whatnot that goes along with this. So it should look pretty cool. A lot of the standard size pieces I already cut out and dremeled up ahead of time. I may actually make a mold of this brick wall so that I can quickly reproduce it in resin. My friend Gary would suggest. He is a master craftsman with molding and casting, and Gary Ambrosi is truly a wealth of knowledge, and even more impressive, he doesn't mind sharing that knowledge with you. You can see him on various channels where he pops in. Of course, he's a mainstay on Overlord DVDs and Doomcock's Pop Culture Breakdown every Sunday night, where he offers his insight from all of his work in Hollywood, acting, directing, prop building, all kinds of stuff like that. And he has been very, very helpful to me, giving me some pointers from the professionals that he's worked with over the years. Most of the knowledge I've acquired of this is basically self-taught, trial and error, and yeah, that's not good. Okay, let's see here. That piece in, yeah, go there. Okay, I'm going to need two smaller pieces like this. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so my plan with this is to make something that I can, when I make a new custom figure, I'm actually planning on making like Frankenstein's slab, his his gurney bed that the monster lays on. And when I have a new figure, I'll actually put the figure on that and kind of roll it up to unveil the new custom figure in the laboratory setting. Yeah, it's probably a little corny, but so am I. So, okay. Yeah, this process is a bit time consuming, but this is up a little higher than I need it. So what I'm going to do is measure this out a little bit from the top. Can't really see what I'm doing here, so move my camera over. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is give myself a little frame of reference. So it's just a tiny bit over 4 inches. It's about 4 1/16. And I'm going to come down here and measure to 4 1/16. Right there. I'm going to put a line across. Okay. I want to get these guys coming out as close to squared off as I can. I tried a couple different methods yesterday with shaping the brick. I tried doing a hot knife to I just sort of burned the styrene a little bit, and I tried doing a little acetylene torch, but I just basically discolored it. So it was back to the Dremel. just because it is very, very time consuming. And you want to have a little bit of you don't want to be going insane on it. And it certainly can be monotonous. Okay. The old saying, measure twice, cut once. Okay, that's good there. Bricks are off a little bit, but that's okay. As long as there's a certain level of consistency. Okay, so we can't put that one there. Tell you, I thought these would, the ones that I had already dremeled out, would have went a little bit farther than they did. Okay. Here we go again. Yeah. Yep. There's all kinds of styrene dust everywhere now. Okay. Here. Yeah. I'll be breaking my shop vac out in a little while. Okay. 1.25 inches. We're going to go here. Mark that as 1.25 inches. Okay. So this looks like it's coming out a little wonky, which I don't understand. It should not be like that unless I measured wrong, which always is a possibility. No, see, there we are, 4 1/8. 4 1/8. That should be nice and straight. But this is coming off a little. It's drooping on this side. So I gotta bring that up a little bit. Now that's giving me a little bit of a and this is weird too, because this, oh, that's off a little bit. Let's see here. 7 and 8. Aha, there's my culprit. Right there. Okay. Just good. So this is only one brick that's off because my line was screwy. Okay. Grab a little. There we go. Okay, now let me fix this line here to here. Put that right there. that should put me right back in the ballpark where I need to be. Okay. So this is going to be a basic background that I can use whenever I'm doing anything for thumbnails and backdrops and stuff like that. Okay. There. I think I want to change it up a little bit like that. Okay. Okay. There. Okay. All right. So that's that part here. So I can about another 2 inches of gold there. I'm about a third of the way done this whole thing because this spot here, right after I get this one, this is going to be a corner, so I have to watch where I go with it. Let's see, I have 3.5 inches on that side, 3.5 inches on this side. Excuse me, laptop. There. This will be a corner. And that will help to hold it up so that I don't have to prop it up on anything when I'm photographing it. It'll just be there, ready to go. Okay. I'm definitely going to need to shop back. Styrene pieces everywhere, including stuck to my glasses. Oh yeah, styrene is notorious for static. So if you have any of it out there, it is definitely going to be clinging to everything. All right. Take this guy. Place you right. Yeah, figures. Let's go there. Put this thing here. I'm wondering. Short of 15 there. No. 15 inches squared. Just checking my measurements now because nope, you're good. Okay. So this is going to be 15 inches high, which is a good height when you're doing dioramas, especially in 6 scale, because a lot of the detail shelving that is so popular is 15 inches high. So your figure can sit on there quite easily. Now this, of course, is it's in a detail shelf. It is 15 inches square. So when you put a figure in there, it's going to have to obviously your diorama base is only going to be able to be 15 inches wide, and this is about 26 inches because obviously I'm using it for something a little bit different than just display. Okay. This one here. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Shoot it up. I need a soundtrack to go along with this. Put some music on in the background. Something a little diabolical. I think I got in the mood to do a little bit of this kind of theme after watching Stranger Things tonight. I'm so happy it got good again. I was very disappointed with the last 2 seasons. And then when they seemed to have gone like straight up horror with this, was like, yeah, that's cool. Let's see, 1, 2. What if I do this? That won't work. That won't work. There we go. Just trying to plan that a little bit, what I'm going to need. Okay. I think here, probably just go saying I had cut out quite a bit of these future bricks, just because I know I had quite a bit of area to cover, but right there. Okay, so essentially that's what I'm going to need as far as dremeling out these bricks into this shape. Now, to give you some idea about how this looks when it's done, it comes out looking this way. So it's a pretty cool effect. Get it on there. And again, a lot of this is paint with highlights. Some of it is like a little bit of stippling. Some of it's a little bit of stippling with the Dremel. But I'm going to have to carve 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 23 more pieces just for this area here. Once I get those 24 done and mounted, then I'm going to start working on the little cabinet accessories that go on the front. I'm probably going to make them out of basswood because it's easier to work with, and because it is, I do want it to have that old Victorian kind of feel to it. I think the wood will actually make the effect a little bit better for it. So now the piece that's going to go over here actually looks like a big breaker box. So that's probably going to be made out of styrene and painted a metallic sort of bronze with I'm trying to find some photos that will give me a little bit of better impression on the detail, so that I can find out exactly what it is that I'm looking for. As far as like whether or not they're like the switches that are pulled down in that old kind of Frankenstein look, like big, fuse things, which wouldn't be a problem for you to make. So yeah, that's my goal with it. All right, so I think I'm going to wrap it up here. If you've enjoyed this, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment there, because I want this stuff to be as helpful as possible for people. These are kinds of things that you can get into and make yourself, and it's a lot of fun. It's I'll get this piece done. It'll be sitting there behind my action figures when I put them on display. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.